In this episode of Fictional Hangover, we talk about baking people, vulvas in jars, a diabetic death world, how we're all future skeletons, unapologetic Back to the Future and Ghostbusters references, and the new $100 Patreon tier in our discussion of Beneath the Sugar Sky by Sean McGuire. Warning! This is a nonsense episode. Warning, 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 warning. Hey everybody, welcome to Fictional Hangover, a podcast about young adult and new adult and sometimes other books, series, authors, voice actors, and illustrators that is full of spoilers. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire, and today we're going to discuss Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shannon McGuire.
Standard disclaimer. I have hair in my mouth. If you haven't read this book, please remember that Fictional Hangover is all about spoilers. If you haven't read or listened and don't want to be spoiled, stop listening to us and go read or listen to the book. Then come back. If you haven't done this but want to pretend that you have, or if you don't care about spoilers, or if you just like the show so much that you don't care about any of that, then listen up.
Spoiler alert, there's hair in my mouth.
Spoiler alert.
Anywho, book club.
I thought everyone needed to know. I thought everyone needed to know about it.
Thank you for sharing. It was it was important. It was
really
important.
Was. Really, really was. Really, really was.
Anywho, it's book club week. Yeah.
Yay, book club week. Yay, yes. I love it.
Guess what you can do for book club? Join our Discord.
Oh, yes. Join our Discord. That was my initial thought. I can't wait to talk about this one in book club. Join our Discord.
I think that's pretty much the standard initial thoughts every time it's a book club one.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm really excited about it.
Well, let's have some different background information though.
So, not surprising from a background info, you know that same Nerdist article that I keep talking about every time we talk about one of these books by Sean McGuire? Hey, that's where I pulled this from.
If you use any other source for background information ever, I'm going to be so upset.
But I'm going to have to when we get to the later books. I'm going to have to.
No? You can't?
I'll just take something.
Even though it's been published already and it's been out for a while, you have to use the same source for the latest book.
Okay, I'll find something. I'll find something.
Should have set the precedent.
I know. Okay, so this one, from that same article. Beneath the Sugar Sky is taking advantage of several of the features I built into the world. One of the things is that the doors are not necessarily connected to one another. So you'll go through one door and it's a portal world like Oz, which is a little silly, but again has consistent physical rules. And you go through another door and it's a portal world like Wonderland, where nonsense runs the day. Everything is just going to do what it's going to do, and you don't have continuity. I think that's very accurate in this book. This book was confusing in some places, but like in the best way.
This book was raise a skeptical eyebrow. I can't describe it.
Okay, did you have any other initial thoughts other than join our Discord? Join our Discord. Discord?
There's a Discord. You can join it. Links are all on our socials. If you head over Instagram, there is a story that literally says Discord. Click on there. There's a link. It lives there. It's all that's there. A link to the Discord.
It's amazing. Discord.
Join it. Do it. Let's just go to the summary before we start getting really silly.
Let's just dive in.
Dive right in. Come on.
I feel like that's appropriate. I feel like diving is appropriate. Yes. For some people, doors are just doors. For others, they open new, fantastical worlds. Sometimes people go through doors to magical places and find where they actually belong. Sometimes people accidentally come back. For those that do, Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children is a place where they can heal and hope and maybe find their way back home.
Eleanor walks the halls of her school, longing for the day she can finally go back through her door into her world of nonsense. Angela keeps her special shoes slung over her shoulder, ready for a rainbow to touch the ground close enough for her to run along it. Christopher plays his bone flute, hoping that on the next Day of the Dead, his skeleton girl will welcome him home. Cade keeps an eye on everything going on at the school, knowing one day it will be his to manage. Ever since Lundy died, Cade has stepped into the role of second in command, and while Eleanor wishes he could just be a kid, she knows he'll be taking over one day, so he might as well start working now.
Cora steps out of her room and nearly right into Eleanor. She's new to the school and from a water world where her jewel-toned blue and green hair blends in with the tropical fish she used to swim with. Eleanor asks how she's doing, and Cora talks about meeting the other girls, some of whom also came from water worlds. It seems she's getting along just fine. At her old school, Cora was the fat girl. But in her world, her size kept her warm in the frigid waters, and she was able to swim faster and farther than everyone else. Here at Eleanor's, no one made fun of her for her size, and no one made fun of her new best friend Nadia for only having one arm. They decide to go to the turtle pond because they both came from watery places, and Nadia loves to chase after the turtles, wanting them to love her and treat her as their queen. This visit to the turtle pond is different, though. A girl falls from the sky and lands right in the middle, sending turtles flying.
Poor turtles! Save the turtles! The girl seems to be about 17 and is wearing a dress made of hot pink wedding cake. As her dress dissolves in the pond water, she finally yells for Cora and Nadia to take her to their leader. But she doesn't mean Eleanor. She means her mother, Sumi. Sumi is dead. Cora takes off running for the school, but accidentally crashes into Christopher, who takes her to see Eleanor and Cade. They both quickly explain what has happened, and Cade goes with them to the turtle pond, sans turtles at the moment, while Eleanor puts her head in her hands. There was a prophecy in Sumi's world of confection that said she would return and defeat the Countess of Candyfloss and become a benevolent monarch. But since she died, it's possible that the prophecy is crumbling. Crumbling like cake.
Cade, Christopher, and Cora rejoin Nadia and the unashamedly naked stranger, who is quite pleased with the appearance of her vagina. Cade offers the girl, named Rini, assistance and clothes, but she claims to not have time for any of that and demands to see her mother, who is definitely Sumi, for the two look exactly alike, except that Rini has candy corn eyes, yellow, orange, and white, which must have come from Sumi's true love, the candy corn farmer. Rini shows the group her hand, which is missing 2 fingers, but not from damage or anything. They've vanished. She appears to be Back to the Futuring.
Yeah. The group gets really dressed marvellously in mismatched rainbows and ribbons, and they go talk to Eleanor, who unfortunately tells Rini that the dead is dead, so there's nothing they can do. Cora asks how she got there, and after an awkward explanation of sex and being born, Cora says she meant how did Rini come to land in their turtle pond, not the... Yeah. She was given a bracelet by the fondant wizard that allows her to travel anywhere there is sugar. This gives Christopher an idea.
Christopher takes the group down to the basement room that used to be Jack and Jill's before they went back to the moors, then Nancy's before she went back to the halls of the dead. All the things Jack and Jill had, aka Jack's mad scientist preservation liquids, were still in there. So, after a night of bad dreams, Christopher dug up Sumi's hands in the hopes of reuniting them with her body that her parents took away and buried. It's not weird at all, Christopher. It's fine.
To be fair, in this school...
It's fine.
It's fine. That's what he said.
He thinks that they might be able to travel to Nancy's world to find out where ghosts go and then use his bone flute to resurrect Sumi and bring her back. It's nonsense, so it's probably gonna work.
Oh, my head hurts. Kid drives the school minivan to the cemetery 6 hours away where Sumi was buried, and Christopher plays his bone flute to summon her skeleton from the earth. It works beautifully, and though Christopher wishes he could summon all the skeletons and have a dance party under the moonlight, want to go to that one, that's not what they're here for now. But if we can do it another night, that would be amazing, Christopher.
I would love it.
Yes. Cora dumps Sumi's hands from their jar, and Christopher plays them from their flesh and reattaches them to Sumi's skeleton. Afterward, they tell Rinny as much as they can about Nancy and where she lives, and she bites a bead from her bracelet, opens a door, and they walk through into the pomegranate grove in the halls of the dead.
After wandering for a bit, the group is approached by the Lady of the Dead. Cade tells her they are there to see Nancy, so she takes them to see her. She talks to Christopher about Mariposa, his world of skeletons, and Nadia about Bella Rica, her drowned world, which isn't an underworld, but it is under the world, so it's quite close. The lady leads the 5 people and 1 skeleton to a dais with living statues standing on pedestals atop it, one of whom is Nancy. The lady asks her to move to greet her visitors.
Nancy slowly and smoothly steps out of her near-statue form to greet Cade, Christopher and Nadia, though she also acknowledges Cora, Rinny and the skeleton of Sumi. They explain why they are there, to see if Sumi's ghost is there, and Nancy says she might be and takes them to a room glittering with ghosts. They swarm around Sumi's skeleton, but then Nancy says if her ghost is there, they have to call to it. So Christopher, not knowing if it will work, plays his flute. Sumi's ghost appears, but it is just a shadow, not her true self. Nancy explains that a body is made of skeletons and skin, soul and shadow, and now they have 2 pieces, but she has no idea how to get the other 2. But she does know that a person will eventually return to where they're supposed to be when they die. As they turn to leave, the Lord of the Dead stops them. They cannot take someone from the halls of the dead without leaving someone in return. Oh.
As Cade steps up to tell the Lord of the Dead that he and his friends aren't for sale, Nadia interrupts and volunteers to stay behind. She asks the Lord of the Dead if her door to Bella Rica were to open, would he let her leave, and he says he would. Nadia has been at Eleanor West's School for Wayward Children for 4 years, so it doesn't seem like she's going to get her door if she continues to stay there. Cora's upset because Nadia is her only friend, which is even more reason for Nadia to leave. So Cora will make new friends, which is always difficult for Cora because she thinks everyone is always judging her for being overweight. Nadia's mind made up, Nancy shows her to a river they have in the halls of the dead, while Rini bites another bead off her bracelet. The group, now without Nadia, falls through the floor and into confection.
They land in an ocean of strawberry rhubarb soda, and Cora, though not loving the sugary sickness of it, does love being in the ocean again. Everyone bobs back to the surface, even Sumi's bones, except for Christopher. Cora swims down, down, down into the soda and sees him sinking to the bottom. So she dolphin swims to rescue him. She brings him to the shore made of graham cracker and cake crumbs and resuscitates him. Rinny is surprised that they can't breathe in the soda sea and is happy she's not from a world like that. Cora thinks that sometimes you have to do what you have to do, then she remembers pills and drowning. But now she's here and has just saved her friend. Group travels through confection in hopes of finding Sumi's Suminess, but instead they find an army.
Damn it!
No, womp womp.
The army belongs to the Queen of Cakes, and they take the group to a large castle where they meet the Queen. She is perfectly dreadful, but the group finds out that she, like Sumi, traveled through a doorway into confection. She is intrigued by Sumi's skeleton, pleased that her enemy is very clearly dead. She sees that Rini is disappearing and tells the rest that when she disappears completely, they will be able to stay forever, which none of them want.
Oh, heck no.
The queen then takes Christopher's bone flute and tries to play it. He freaks out, which the queen enjoys, and we learn that the bone is his own bone. And his skeleton girl replaced it with another, so it's very important that he gets it back. He had cancer, and the skeleton girl saved him by removing the bone. But now, without it, he might die.
No.
The queen doesn't care about this at all and tells her army to lock the group away, all except for Sumi's skeleton, which she wants to play with.
Don't like the queen. Cora, Cade, Christopher and Rini are taken to a cell in a tall tower. Christopher is very clearly about to die without his flute, and Rini is feeling very sorry for herself and for dragging them all to confection. She's decided that the world is rewriting itself so that the Queen of Cakes was always there and her family never was, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. Cora disagrees. She asks Cade about what he did in his world, and he tells her that he killed the Goblin King and became the Goblin Prince, so she knows he can fight if necessary. She devises a plan.
Cora and Cade move Christopher to the middle of the cell, and then she pries a baked brick out of the wall. Cade hides behind the door with the cookie brick, while Cora screams for the guards, telling them that they need Christopher's flute. When the guard comes in, Cade bashes him with the brick, and Rini kicks him for good measure, but he doesn't fight back and doesn't seem to want to be involved at all. So maybe Rini was right and the world is trying to correct itself. Cade takes his armor and then marches Cora to see the queen, while Rini stays behind to deal with the guard and keep watch over Christopher.
When they see the queen, Cora pretends to turn on her friends and tells the queen she wants to be like her. The queen thinks that Cora, as overweight as she is, wanted to come eat herself to death in confection. But that's not true at all. Yeah. I hate the queen. I hate the queen. I really hate the queen. Okay, we'll get into that. Still, Cora pretends to respect the queen, but then Cade, surprised, attacks her, making her give up Christopher's flute. The other guards in the room don't do anything because they realise that they're not really supposed to be there at all. Cora unties Sumi and Cade drags the queen away, back to the cell. Cora gives Christopher his flute and they decide not to kill the queen, but to tie her up and leave her in the cell instead. Maybe no one will come rescue her and she'll die. Frankly, they don't care at all. Neither do we.
No, not at all. Because she's the worst.
She is absolutely the worst.
They escape the castle and head toward Rini's family home. She's sure that her father will know what to do because he always knows what to do. As they walk, Cade, Christopher, and Cora have a really confusing, headache-inducing conversation about doors and worlds to places and worlds from places and how some intersect and some do not, but then they finally arrive at Rini's father's candy corn farm. Unfortunately, Ponder, Rini's dad, doesn't know anything about bringing Sumi's nonsense heart back to her body, but maybe the baker will know. Ponder gives them provisions and sends them on their way.
Rini is nervous about meeting the baker because her timeline is all mixed up. If the baker, who Cora kind of freaks out about meeting too, because the baker is essentially god of confection, brings Sumi back, will Rini go back to herself, or will she continue disappearing because she's now older than her mom and dad would never take a child bride? Oh, it's very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Cade is certain that everything will work out, but Rini's not so sure. After nearly a day's worth of walking, because that's how long it takes to get anywhere in confection, the group arrives at what looks like to be a junkyard for thousands of failed kitchen experiments. They've made it to the baker.
The baker is a teenage girl from Brooklyn in a hijab who loves to bake. One day, a door opened for her and brought her to confection, and now she bakes the world. She sees Rini and Sumi and praises Rini for bringing Sumi back to them. But when asked if she can bring back Sumi's nonsense and make her whole again, she doesn't think so. She's never done anything like that before. They ask her to try, so she does. She mixes up all sorts of delicious treats like Rice Krispie treat mussels, yellow cake fatty tissue, sugar cookie organs, fondant skin, and black cotton candy hair. She builds a cake version of Sumi and, with the help of Cade and Cora, loads it into the oven. Now they have to hope and wait.
While Sumi is baking.
It's a good sentence, isn't it?
It's a wonderful sentence. While Sumi is baking, Cade introduces himself to the baker and asks her name, which is Layla. Christopher asks if she's religious because of hijab and if she's okay with being a god. But Layla says she's not a god, she's a baker, and whether she is here in confection or back in Brooklyn, she's still a baker. Cora asks a question that's been worrying Rini and has a very confusing answer. If this works and Sumi returns to normal, will Rini still be born? Layla says yes. Sumi will go with them through their door and come back to confection in a little while, and that she, Layla, doesn't arrive until a year after Sumi returns. Time doesn't work the same way through the doors, obviously.
Obviously.
Have they not worked this out? Cade wonders if he can go back home and find the younger version of Layla on the internet, but she begs him not to because that didn't happen in her time, and if something messed up and she wasn't able to get her door, well, things would be bad.
Yeah.
With that, the timer dings. It's time to take Sumi out of the oven.
Everyone.
Making people is amazing.
Everyone, minus Rini, because of her mostly missing hands, helps to pull Sumi from the oven. She looks real and not like cake. Layla assures them that everything worked perfectly because confection wanted Sumi to return. If it didn't, Sumi's cake would be a melted mess because you definitely aren't supposed to bake cotton candy or fondant or lots of the other things that Layla used to create her. They must wait for her to cool, so if they don't, her brain will scramble, which is fantastic. And when it's finally time, Rini tells Sumi about her adventure to bring her home. At the end of the tale, Rini asks her mother to wake up so she can meet her, and she does. Sumi is back, and so is Rini. Layla bakes a door for Sumi, Cora, Christopher, and Cade so they can go back home.
I've just got this image of Sumi lying on a wire rack. But then it's like a Great British Bake Off. Where they're desperate for something to go down and they've got the baking sheet and they're just fanning it to try and read it up. So then they can ice on her eyebrows. It's tickled me so much those 2 times. Oh, sorry. Eleanor is so happy to have Sumi back and the others too, but wonders what happened to Nadia. They tell her everything that happened on their journey, but they don't know about Nadia. Nadia sat by the river in the halls of the dead, petting turtles, longing for her drowned world where she is a drowned girl. She reaches down with a hand that shouldn't be there and skips a rock. Then she looks down, startled. When she lived in Belarakia, her forearm and hand that had been missing since she was born was replaced with one made of beautiful, clear water. Now the hand is back, and so is her door. She scoops up a tiny turtle friend and jumps through the door back to Belarakia, back to her home. Yay!
Yay!
Oh.
I'm sorry that you
Sudden urge to bake
broke
some
so
cakes.
much.
Oh, I'm broken. But I need to go and bake some cakes while everybody has a promo.
Yeah, I think that sounds great.
Books and Homes USA partners with schools across the country to provide their students with brand new free books to take home and enjoy. We believe in helping kids build their own home libraries to support early literacy achievement and promote a lifelong love of reading. To learn more, visit www.booksandhomesusa.org. Make a gift today and help us spread the joy that comes from receiving a new book.
I'm going to say something that I hope no one takes negatively. But the only thing that bothered me in this book, the only thing I didn't like about it, because it was amazing and ridiculous and wonderful, so I felt so bad for Cora because she struggled so much with her weight. And I know that everyone, like, in the before door times was terrible to her and, like bullied her so much that it was implied that she tried to take her own life. But, like, no one has treated her that way since she got to Eleanor's, and I hate that she's suffering so much with all that past trauma, and I wish that she could see that she has friends now and they like her for who she is. And I hate that she's so tortured.
You see, Cora's, I'm just going to call it big girl trauma, because I am a big girl and I am traumatized by it. So I relate to Cora on a fundamental level. So spoilers, she is one of my favourite characters. And I get what you're saying, but, like, when you're bullied for your weight for most of your life, even when you're a grown-ass adult in your 20s, 30s, 40s, by the time you get into your 30s, you give zero shits about people's opinions, or you at least, you're on your way to just being not caring. But that trauma's there. It's embedded. So even though you know that your friends, your work colleagues, everyday people in the street really don't care about your size, it's built in. It's there, and you are going to constantly think, you're sitting there on a Zoom call at work and you're obviously the big girl in the room in the office. It's a trauma that's there, and it's not going to be anything that is going to go away without extensive therapy. So I understand what you're saying, but I understand Cora for what she is, which, I mean, think about when we met last year. God, I prepared you by saying I'm big, I am snowman shaped, I'm spherical. I told you I am a fat girl many times before we met, because I was paranoid, because it's ingrained in me that when I meet somebody for the first time, they're going to be like, jeepers, isn't she huge? And it's to mitigate that. So welcome to my psychoses, okay? It's there, and I understand what you mean, but it's big girl trauma. And that's one of the reasons why I actually really appreciated Cora's character. Because when we've read books in the past where it's a big girl as the story and character, the body issues are a fundamental aspect of the character that they overcome. And I'm thinking of the zombie one,
Eat Your Heart Out.
Eat Your Heart Out, where she was a big girl, but she was also fit, which is perfectly acceptable and fine and accurate. Mm-hmm. But it still played on the fact that she was a big girl, and that you should like her despite her size, because she is capable, she is a survivor, she's a strong character. And I really enjoyed that book, and I enjoyed the representation. But I actually feel like Cora's is probably more real world accurate, and it was nice. It was nice to have that positive representation there. The same with the transgender representation in this book as well. It's, I really enjoyed this book because it had real people.
Yeah.
In fantastical situations.
Yeah. I love Cade. He's probably one of my most favorite characters overall, but I do like that scene in this one where they're in the cell and Cora asks him about where he came from and what he did in his world, and he was like explaining everything about how, the world that I lived in only takes little girls. And then I was there, and I'm not a girl. And then I was named the Goblin Prince, and then they found out, and then they kicked me out. And she's like, what? And he's like, come on, you lived with fucking Nadia. I know that she would have said something. I know that you guys have talked about it. And it's just kind of glossed over. But I think Cade is, I mean, he's been dealing with this his entire life, obviously. And I think maybe he's come to terms with it maybe a little more than Cora has gotten the chance to, because everyone just treats him, except for Angela, who was really shitty to him in the first book. But most everyone treats him as he is, because that's who he is. And a lot of the people in these books aren't actually terrible unless they're supposed to be terrible and they're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
the bad
that.
guys are very obvious. I mean, look at the Queen of Cakes. Oh my god, she's the worst.
Oh, did you come here to eat yourself to death? Like, fucking no, stupid bitch.
Honestly, I would want to punch every single tooth out of her mouth.
Ugh.
And then I'll sell them to you at the Goblin Markets in
Thank
from
you.
last week. You can sell them for high
you.
price. Would you like Queen's teeth
Yeah.
from a nonsensical world? You'll get a high price for those.
Yeah, it would be amazing. Thank you. Thank you
You're
for
very
those
welcome.
teeth.
You're very welcome, because damn, I would extract every single one of them painfully.
Yeah, she's the worst. She's one of the worst characters that I think we've encountered lately.
Yeah,
And that
she's got no right to. I said no. Nobody has the right to be a horrible person, but she's just a regular person that came through the door and just so happens to have ascended to the Queen of Cakes.
yeah.
So check yourself at the door, love. Take a seat. Take several seats. Touch some grass, and look in the mirror a little bit.
Ugh.
Oh, but it's so well done.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that clear cut. Characters you're supposed to like, characters you're not supposed to like. No mixing, because it's all confused. I mean, this was a very confusing book for me.
It was very confusing. It was very, very confusing. Mm-hmm.
And it's nice when you have that spaghetti of confusing nonsense and logic and sugar and bone, and that you can just be like, clearly these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. It's nice to have that without too much grey. Okay, I can rely on this, and I really really appreciate that.
Yeah. I really loved meeting the baker,
Yes.
and that she's like in a junkyard. I don't know why I enjoy that so much, because it's all just like failed baked treats and stuff. It's not like trash, garbage junkyard. It's, toppled over cakes and a rusty old oven and like. I just thought that was.
It makes sense though, doesn't it? It makes perfect sense.
It does. And that's part of the whole thing with this nonsense world. Like, some stuff has to make sense in order for it to work properly, and this makes sense. This is the baker. She has a giant kitchen, and she can just reach over and grab what she needs and bake a human, which was fine. Like, I don't understand how that worked. And there's a whole thing with Christopher going, you know that, like, people are made of meat, right? And she's like, oh, it's fine. Everything will be fine. And she's, mixing up the sugar cookie. Yeah.
Fondant on here.
Yeah.
I even had images in my head of giant gingerbread kind of like cookie cut. Just to make sure she gets my imagination went absolutely wild at that bit, because it was just it was fun. It was really fun.
Oh, I also loved that, she's building this body out of baked goods around the skeleton, and she's like, don't worry, the bones will be fine. Like, I'm not cremating cookies over here. It's not hot enough for that to happen. It's fine. If it doesn't work, we'll just clean off all the bits and try again.
I like her optimism. I really, really do.
Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy the baker, actually. She's probably one of my favourite characters next to Cora.
Yeah. Yeah, I really, really liked her.
I feel sorry for the turtles at the beginning, though.
They're
When
fine.
Rini, like, splashes down. I hope so. And I'm listening to the audiobook. I was listening to it at work, and I'm like tapping away, getting this stuff done. You know, I had a project I had to get done, and I thought I need to be able to zone and concentrate on it. But it wasn't one of these where you have to be 100% switched on to it. There was a certain amount of monotony, so I thought it's perfect. Oh, it's perfect audiobook material. And then all of it, vagina. I'm like, what? Excuse me.
There was so much vagina talk. It was ridiculous.
So much vagina. Exclamations of vagina at all moments. And like, that's not your vagina.
I know. I love it was Cade, and he was like, actually, Cade of all people. Actually, that's not your vagina. It's your vulva. But, you know, whatever.
Would you like an anatomical drawing? I can provide you.
They go down into the basement where Jack still has all of her stuff there, and he like pulls down a chart, opens up a pointer.
He pulls women's reproductive organs in from a jar off the shelf.
Oh no! No! Don't make Jack keep vulvas in jars. She probably did.
That's not me. That's Jack.
She probably did. You're probably right. She probably did.
She'll have everything in jars.
She will.
Did you spend this book wondering how they're doing? Like, hoping everything's going fine? Or do you know because you've already read further on in the series than I have? Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Don't worry. I think it's... Is it book 4? Book 6? Book 5?
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming.
Could be book 6. Could be book 4. Could be 6. Could be 3. Could be 2. We don't know.
It's not 3. It was
not
2.
3. This is 3. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I do not like confection as a world, though. Like,
I would 100% die in confection.
Yes. Yes, that is a given. But, like, without the threat of diabetic death. Like, no, it's not for me. I love to bake. You know, and you know, because I text you pictures of all the bakes I end up doing.
Yes.
This weekend I'm going to tackle flapjacks. And it's too much. I feel like it's reinforced. I like savoury over sweet at the moment. I'm in my maturity, I've decided savoury over sweet.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, okay, if there's this world of confection and everyone's, you know, made of cakes and cookies and candy corn and all of that stuff, like, where's the world where everybody's a vegetable? And can I go there?
Oh, well, you see, there's a witch, right? And what happens is the witch has a vegetable garden.
Oh.
And she makes the vegetables come to life, and they eventually do turn into people. But there's also a creepy, mysterious castle in the woods and a vampire.
I need to go there. That's my world. That's my door. If I go anywhere, if I go through a door, it is going to be into the witch's garden.
You need to
or
visit
actually,
Agnes.
Probably I'm going to the castle, if we're being frank. But that's where I want to go.
I want to know where the cheese world is, because...
Cheese world. Mm-hmm.
Cheese and coffee world. Where's the cheese and coffee world?
Well, there's a book coming out soon where the cheese comes to life and it's a man and it's a sexy man and it's a sexy story about cheese. It's not just one
sexy man, there's 4 sexy men. I have the beta version of the book. I signed up for it. Yeah. I'm thinking more as well of the Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich graphic novel, which is absolutely freaking delightful, because I do have and have read that. which
Yes.
I'm going to make you cover on the podcast as well.
Oh yeah, we need to. We talked about it. I think we
Yes.
don't we have a month.
We have a
about
month where it's
food.
about having the munchies. Yeah, because we have another book as well, where it's like a zombie food thing. And
Ooh, I've read that one. I've read that one.
I've got it. It's on the pile. Pile.
This Delicious
Or
Death.
it could be pile 2. Yes.
Yeah.
This Delicious Death. Yes.
Yes.
So spoilers for whenever that happens, because I can't remember what month that is.
Summertime, I think. June.
Yeah. Potentially. I know
Or is
August
it April?
cryptids. Oh,
I don't
who
know.
knows?
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great, and we're gonna cover all of these delicious books, and it's gonna be fine.
I just know
anyway-
what we're covering this month.
Yes, me too. Tip.
1 month at a time. To
Yes. Can I spoilers? Can
you
I
bring us
tell
back to
you-
the subject matter at hand?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. Can I tell you that I know earlier I said that Kate is one of my favorite characters throughout the entire thing, but I also really, really like Christopher.
Yes.
And I like that we got to learn a little bit more about him in this one, that
Yes.
he had cancer and he's going to die if you take his flute away, which is terrifying. But I love that, I mean, he's got his skeleton girl that he wants to go back home to. And he had a whole conversation about how weird it is that he's in love with a skeleton. And Cora's like, that's so weird. It's like, that's what's on the inside. And he's like, well, aren't you a mermaid? And she's like, yeah, but my scales are underneath my skin right now. And he's like, see?
Yes.
It's not so weird after all, is it? You're a mermaid on the inside.
We're all skeletons. We're all
Yeah.
future skeletons.
Yeah.
So I don't see a problem. I think I'm all for Christopher and his skeleton girl. I ship it. I want it to happen.
Yes. Ugh, I want to meet her. I want to go to his world.
I hope we do.
I know I'm pretty sure there's a short story, which I found all of the short stories, by the way. They're all on Tor. They're all available from Tor. Although Tor's called something else now. They have a new name. They rebranded. But anyway, I have links for all of those short stories because they're all available. And they're just, it's a quick read, a few pages.
Can you say loud?
But I have links for all of those. Yeah, maybe. We need to cover those if we're going to get through an entire year.
We do,
of
we
these
do.
books.
And, our book club on Discord, we
Yes.
can easily post links for them there as well so everybody has
can.
access.
Yes, definitely. Everyone go and join our Discord.
Yeah.
Were you surprised by anything in this book as I try to get us back on topic for half a second?
I mean, the most shocking thing, the most surprising thing was the exclamations of vagina.
Amanda's beautifully stupid vagina.
Probably Christopher's, like the truth behind the bone flute.
Yeah.
Not that I was surprised, but it was nice to finally have that, like, story.
Yeah.
Probably is, yeah. I hated the way the Queen just took it off him and was so blasé and casual with it, like.
Yeah, because
Give him
as soon
back
as
his
she takes
frickin'
it,
bone flute.
yeah, as soon as she takes it, he like goes pale and crumples to the ground. Like, okay, something is happening here.
Yeah, I think that
Stop
was
being
probably
a
the
jerk.
surprising aspect was the immediate deterioration of Christopher and like his reaction to it being taken off him.
Yeah,
It was scary and horrible because Christopher's so lovely.
I know.
Don't
I
do
love
that
Christopher.
to him.
Do you know what? Do you know what it made me think of? And this is really weird. It's a very odd connection to make, but do you know in Deadpool 2 when Deadpool has the collar on and it turns off his mutant abilities, and his mutant ability is obviously regeneration. He's like, nope, the cancer's coming, and he just like sits back and he gets really, really sick almost immediately.
Yes.
Like, it's fine. The
Yes.
cancer's just going to take me over. But that's what I thought of, and I hate to compare Christopher with Deadpool, But
I don't think
that's
you
what
would
I
be too
thought.
insulted. I don't think Christopher would be too
No,
insulted.
but I think that Christopher's probably more attractive than Deadpool.
Yes.
So he'd probably hate that bit of it. But yeah, that's what I thought of.
I get that. I completely get that. I think that's completely fine. What were your surprises?
I was surprised that the drowned girls seem to have wanted to die, and or they did die, and or they actually drowned to get to their worlds. And that kind of makes me wonder, like, is that, are we dealing with afterlives here in this situation? Because
how much death are we actually dealing with so far? We've dealt with a lot of death in these books. Death is a massive overhanging shadow in all of them.
Yeah, but like Cora, she mentions, and it's very brief, and if you're not paying attention to it, you might miss it. Like there's just like a half of a sentence where she talks about remembering pills.
Yeah. I think, well, if you think about it, the way that, like, I can't think of the exact turn of phrase, but, death is just another doorway.
Yes.
Doors aren't just doors. It isn't, there isn't a locker handle, hinges. It's not necessarily made of wood. Look at Nadia's portal in the water opened up. It wasn't a physical door, and in Sticks and Bones, it was a trunk.
Yes.
So they're not traditional doors. And I can see that, yes. The difference being, though, excuse me, if you were a drowned girl and they actually did drown, there's no coming back from that world. You can't be kicked out.
But why? You can be baked back to life. Why can't you be resurrected? I think with Nadia, it mentioned like someone found her face down in a pool of water and pulled her out. So
okay,
like,
so I guess in the water can just spit you out.
Yeah. Also,
there is that
I believe
potential then.
Yeah, I believe the quote you were looking for is "Death is but a door, time is but a window. I'll be back," and that is from Ghostbusters 2. Just holding on to that little nugget for everyone.
Thank you. Yes.
Sorry, not sorry.
Never apologise for Ghostbuster quotes.
No, never. Does that bring us to time? Is it time?
Yes.
Pew, 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 pew. This one's a little bit weird, Claire.
It is.
It's a little bit weird.
But we do have comments.
We do. Sorry, everyone. Sometimes we have to record things out of order, and it's weird.
It is, but, we have lives, and we're not paid to do this, so... I mean, feel free to join our Patreon and give us some cash.
Yeah, everyone give us a little bit more money, but spoiler alert, the two of us cannot survive on
nothing.
$100 a year.
Anywho, we have a social media question that is going to be posted across our socials. But we got in touch with our superfans and the book club and got some comments from them to help answer it, because they are amazing people, and thank you very much for replying to our answer this question ASAP message.
Yes, almost everyone did, which was amazing.
Yeah. So, we asked our book club and superfans, would you rather have candy corn coloured eyes or tropical fish coloured hair? Superfan Brie said, tropical fish hair, my eyes are stunning as I am, and I'm not partial to changing them to orange, yellow, white. Also, tropical fish have a wider range of colours, so my hair will be rainbow. AF.
Superfan Drew says, fish hair. The colour of candy corn creeps me out. Love you, Drew.
Superfan Crinoline Lefroy on Discord said, tropical fish hair seems more my style. I think I could make that colour scheme work. And you could. You really could.
I'm pretty sure she could without even trying. Superfan Katrina on Discord, hey everyone, go and join our Discord, please, says tropical fish hair. That would be cool and probably quite mermaid-like. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think it would. I don't think Constance is allowed to answer this one because she's had the fish.
Yeah.
The hair colour.
Yeah.
Claire on Discord said, tropical fish hair since I already have very colourful hair.
Oh, nice. Malcolm Reynolds 78 on Discord says candy corn eyes probably help me stare down the kids at school if my eyes are all creepy.
To which I support this 100%.
Yeah, I love it.
And I'm manifesting.
Yeah, yes.
Manifesting the creepiness. Nangai, how do I say that? Nangi?
I don't know. They'll have to tell us.
Yeah. So, who's on a Discord, please, correct my pronunciation. I'm very sorry. Tropical fish hair, as long as the fish is the French or emperor angelfish, mostly black with thin white streaks. That
like
is
Nancy's hair.
A really perfect description.
It is. It's Nancy's hair. I hate to tell you this, but Superfan Constance has also responded and chimed in with an answer, and she says, "Girl, you know me, fish hair. Love to have my hair any color of the rainbow."
I'm not going to allow that, Constance, because you've already done it.
Well, so has Claire.
Oh, okay. Damn it! Can't have one rule for one rule for the other.
I know, that's not fair. We're not living in some nonsense world, Claire.
We are living in a nonsense world. Have you looked outside? Have you had a news notification lately? I just think, knowing Superfan Constance and knowing her vast array of different hair colours, multiple coloured hairs, she should try the eyes for a change.
She should. She definitely should. That's what I'm going to pick, 100%. And it's similar to Malcolm Reynolds 78. It's for the creep factor.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that I'm creepy. I want to continue to be creepy. And what's creepier than having weird, creepy fucking eyes?
Yeah, I agree.
Colorful hair is joyful and lovely, not scary beyond all reason.
No. I mean, to be fair, I would like, Wife of Frankenstein's monster kind of black with the white streaked hair.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, no, I think the eyes would be quite fun. And it's not as if they're contacts. I can't wear contacts. So it's not as if the contacts, they are my eyes. So I might as well have trippy eyes. Because hair can easily be dyed. Or wigs.
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't I have my rainbow wig on this week? I should have put my rainbow wig on.
I know. We've really let ourselves down this time.
Let the team down. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It's fine. Okay. Next question. Would you rather swim in the strawberry soda sea of confection or in the turtley river in the halls of the dead?
Easy. Turtley river in the halls of the dead. Soda? Ew, no. I am not a Fizzy Potter fan. Turtles, freaking love turtles. Turtles are adorable and I love them so much. Follow turtle people on Instagram. It will bring joy to your feed. Also bears. That's just a life tip.
I'm going to agree with you. I am going to pick the Turtley River, mostly on account of the fact that I would 100% die if I was in the sugary strawberry soda sea.
Yes, but remember, this is Would You Rather, so you are the Lord and Master of all you survey, so you can say the diabetes is not affected.
Yeah, but diabetes is a part of me, and I'm always thinking about how I'm going to be affected by it. So it's just ingrained. And I have to think about that. So I'm going to pick the turtles. Also, I would like to share with you, Claire, that a couple of days ago, our lake was really flooded. And Jacob, my husband, everyone who doesn't know that already, saw a turtle on a log. And the log was floating through the lake, and the turtle was just there for the ride. And he floated all the way across the lake, and then he came back, and he was just floating on the little log, and it was just a little turtle. Just thought you would enjoy that. Thought you would enjoy that little story. Little turtle tidbit.
I demand a webcam on that lake in constant 24-hour feed.
We could probably make that happen.
And you too can see the webcam on the lake if you join the Patreon top tier.
Yes. Free access to Amanda's backyard. No, that's weird. I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm not going to do that. I take it back.
Take it all back.
Yes.
Right,
although, if it means people join our Patreon and give us money, maybe I will do it.
Do you remember the conversation we had about cosplay and not wearing shoes?
Yeah, I remember a lot of weird conversations we've had about my lake and how you're going to pee in it one day.
One day I will pee in that lake. Oh, but no, there's turtles there now.
And everyone will be able to see it on Patreon, apparently.
If it's top tier Patreon level. Might make another one that's even higher just for that.
Yeah. This is
for the $100 a
level.
month, you get PP Lake level.
Gross.
For a tiny $100 a month.
Gross. No.
I'm going to move on now.
Please. I'm afraid of what is happening.
Would you rather be a living statue, or a goblin prince, or a mermaid?
I kind of want to be a living statue.
Like
I think
the
about
ones
those.
You get moles that are really annoying, and you have to shout, "Get a real job!"
Yes, I think that would be really fun. I think it's interesting, and I like how we saw more of Nancy in book 1. Obviously, she was the main character in book 1, but there was a scene where she saw Jill being creepy and bloody, and she just froze up, and her heart basically stopped beating. And I think that's just really cool.
Oh, yes. It's a bit of a possum kind of reaction, though, isn't it?
Yes. And we all know how I feel about possums, like that one episode.
You're going to love
about Tantalize.
Snapdragon. You're going to love Snapdragon.
Yay. Yay.
I'm going to pick
What
Goblin
about you?
Prince. I'm picking Goblin Prince because then I can pretty much recreate Labyrinth.
Yeah, that's also fine.
Yeah.
Will you have a bulge in your pants that everyone can see when they join our $100 tier on Patreon?
Oh, yeah. I will even get the Jareth hair.
I've got that wig already, so you can just
I'll
wear
just
that.
borrow it. Just throw it at us as I'm walking out the car. Just throw it at me. I'll put it on, and I'll stand there in the lake with my bulge. Peeing.
Excellent. Sounds really great.
Yours for $100 a month.
Gross.
Ongoing contribution. This is a
One
weird
day.
episode.
It is a weird episode. It's completely nonsense, Claire.
Oh no! Oh no!
No, I hate it. Would you rather have hair made of cotton candy or skin made of fondant? And remember, you've been baked back to life, so it's fine. It's not like your skin's gonna fall off or your hair's gonna wisp away in the wind or anything.
Did I ever tell you the cotton candy story from Disneyland?
I don't think so.
Oh, I'll tell you off call because even the Patreons don't get that one.
Ooh.
Unless it's $100 a month. I'm going to have cotton candy hair because I feel like I could play with it a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like there's cotton candy. It's not the most pliable of stuff. But imagine the beehive you could have.
Yes.
Or like, you know, the buns.
It's the Frankenstein. The Bride of
I could do
Frankenstein.
that. Exactly.
Yeah.
I could do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do the cotton candy hair.
Okay.
It will curl really nice.
Yeah. You just like sizzle it into shape and it would be fine. It would smell really good.
Oh yeah. Doesn't unless it's burnt.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing?
I think I'm gonna go cotton candy hair as well. That's different than answering the first question with the colorful hair, even though I would choose cotton candy hair because then I could make it whatever color I want it to be. But that's different. It's completely 100% different.
It is 100% different. But candy corn coloured eyes with cotton candy hair.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it a lot. That's what I'm gonna do.
Cool.
Okay.
Would you rather spend a day in the baker's junkyard talking to the baker, or in the halls of the dead talking to the Lord and the Lady?
Now, I think I'm going to surprise everyone with my answer for this one because everyone expects me to choose the halls of the dead talking to the Lord and the Lady, which, I mean, honestly, I probably would choose that, but I feel like they would be maybe a little bit boring. And I don't think the baker would be boring at all. I'm positive that she is ridiculous like we are, and I think it would be fun to talk to her.
I agree. I think you could be like, you know the Colin the Caterpillar cakes? And she's like, uh-huh. I was like, she'll make a real one. She'd be like, yes.
And you bring a giant caterpillar to life?
Yes. And then you're like, have you read A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking? And she's like, no. And then you explain the premise, and she's like, well, we're building a gingerbread army.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
she would be fine. She would just go with it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think if she'd be down for the lols.
Yes. I think that's 100% right.
Or as Constance superfan, baker extraordinaire says, she'd be down to clown.
She would be down to clown. She really, really would be. Yeah. Has Constance read this book yet? Because I feel like she's going to love it.
Yeah, and do you know what I'm really excited about for Constance? It's a baker who was not the murderous Nazi.
That's right.
We finally have a baker who isn't the bad guy.
Yes, the last baker that we had on the show, in a book, not in real life for the love of fuck, was a murderous Nazi. So now she's got a good baker she can look up to.
Yes, and you cannot defend the murderous Nazi, but at least she's got Layla.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Favorite final thought quote. What did you pick?
Mine all seem to be of a theme.
Is it vaginas?
No.
I'm pretty sure that's mine. I'm pretty sure I picked all of those. Fine.
We're whistling through the graveyard to keep ourselves from totally losing our shit. I love graveyards. Okay. I think there is a family rumour that way back in my ancestry there were grave robbers, which is why I really like the grave robbing graveyard quotes, because I'm always like, my familia. So this grave robbing was still viewed as socially inappropriate, and doing it when the sun was up was generally viewed as unwise. So yeah, and the last one. I like my sugar in skull form and my illumination to come from lanterns hung in the branches of leafless trees. I just like that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
What have you got? Do yours involve vulvas or vaginas?
Yes. Over here, next to the naked lady. A cake's a cake, whether or not it's been frosted, said the stranger primly. You are not a cake, you are a human being, and I can see your vagina, snapped Nadia. The stranger shrugged. It's a nice one, I'm not ashamed of it.
I love the body positivity. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I was dead a second ago and now I'm naked. Do I need to be concerned? Ah, Sumi. I'm so glad Sumi's back. I'm so glad Sumi is back. Frosting isn't a good medium for lengthy dissertations on fate.
Oh, that one really was a shoulder shaking laugh. Oh.
Okay, I've got one more. Said Christopher, all of this is cool to watch, if a little nightmare fuel-esque, but people are usually made of meat, not Rice Krispie treats. We need a functional Sumi. You're making a cake that looks sort of like her. People are usually made of meat.
But we're all future skeletons, so it's okay, Christopher. It's okay.
It's okay. Fine. Okay, if you liked this, try this. What are you going to suggest?
There's part of this I kind of wish I'd gone for Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher.
We've already read that one and covered
We've already
it.
read that one. We've covered it. So go back, listen to that one.
That was a good episode. That was a lot of fun.
It was. What I'm actually going to do is another T. Kingfisher called Thornhedge. And
Shock.
I'm saying this because, shock, we just need to cover more T. Kingfisher, and this just keeps it in mind.
Yes.
Especially after what our conversation with Superfan Brie when we discussed Nettle and Bone. Anywho.
Yeah, we need to do more research.
We need to do more research. Here's something from Goodreads. There's a princess trapped in a tower. This isn't her story. Meet Toadling. On the day of her birth, she was stolen from her family by the fairies, but she grew up safe and loved in the warm waters of fairyland. Once an adult though, the fae ask a favour of Toadling. Return to the human world and offer a blessing of protection to a newborn child. Simple, right? But nothing with fairies is ever simple. Centuries later, a knight approaches a towering wall of brambles where the thorns are thick as her arm and as sharp as swords. He's heard there's a curse here that needs breaking, but it's a curse Toadling will do anything to uphold. I kind of like the fairy tale aspect. I kind of like the between worlds. Things aren't
and
exactly
she's
what
from
they seem.
A watery place.
Yeah. So
#tenuouslink.
tenuous link. Yeah. What have you got?
I am going to suggest The Girl from Everywhere by Heidi Helig. As the daughter of a time traveler, #tenuouslink, Nyx has spent 16 years sweeping across the globe and through the centuries aboard her father's ship. Modern-day New York City, 19th century Hawaii, other lands seen only in myth and legend. Nyx has been to them all. But when her father gambles with her very existence, it may all be about to end. If there is a map, Nyx's father can sail his ship, the Temptation, to any place and any time. But now that he's uncovered the one map he's always sought, 1868 Honolulu, the year before Nyx's mother died in childbirth, Nyx's life, her entire existence, is at stake. No one knows what will happen if her father changes the past. It could erase Nyx's future, her dreams, her adventures, her connection with the charming Persian thief Cash, who's been a part of their crew for 2 years. So I went with that one because it seemed very Back to the Future-y, which I made a reference to earlier, and it just seemed like it would fit. Also, they're going to all sorts of places and times. It's perfect. It's not even a #tenuouslink at all.
To be fair, given the nonsense nature of this episode, we could have gone for absolutely anything.
We really could.
I'm kind of hoping you've gone for absolutely anything in the new and indie spotlight.
No, actually, I found another one that is #tenuouslink, so it's perfect. It's called A House Like an Accordion, which I think is a fantastic name, by Audrey Burgess, and it comes out in May. So we've got a little bit of time before that one comes out, so you can go and pre-order it right now. And here is the #NotSoTenuousLink. Kareth Miller is disappearing.
Oh!
Between the growing distance from her husband, the demands of 2 teenage daughters, and an all-encompassing burnout, she sometimes feels herself fading away. actual translucence, though. That's new. When Kareth wakes up one morning with her hand completely gone, she is frantic, but she quickly realizes two things. If she is disappearing, it's because her father, an artist with the otherworldly ability to literally capture life in his art, is drawing her. And if he's drawing her, that means he's still alive. But where has he been for the past 25 years? And why is he doing the one thing he always warned her not to? Never draw from life, Kareth. Every line exacts a cost. As Kareth continues to slowly fade away, she retraces what she believes to be her father's last steps through the many homes of her past, determined to find him before it's too late, and she disappears entirely.
Ooh.
Back to the future-y. Kind of.
Kind of.
In a different way.
Hashtag tenuous.
Hashtag tenuous.
But hashtag not so tenuous.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it.
Okay, so that's it for this episode of Fictional Hangover. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire.
Join us next time as we discuss Snapdragon by Kat Lay. Look out for our Would You Rather polls and monthly challenges on social media. Don't forget about our book club on Discord. Be sure to visit our shop on Redbubble at fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for all your favorite Fictional Hangover themed merchandise, and become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover. $100 tier coming soon. Until next time, remember, the only cure for a fictional hangover is another book. Gross.
You can find us at fictionalhangover.com. Follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok and YouTube at Fictional Hangover. And find us on Facebook at facebook.com/fictionalhangover. If you like this episode, check out our others and be sure to rate, review and subscribe so you don't miss out. And finally, special thanks to Liz Emerson for our music. You can find her on Facebook and Patreon. Thanks for listening.